Next to me is Dr. Joachim Schutz from the International Agency for Research on Cancer. Welcome to Greece, Mr. Schutz.
Thank you.
I would like to ask you, are the electromagnetic fields connected with cancer? How weak or how strong are the scientific evidence for the connection, about the connection between the two?
If we look at the evidence right now and we take into account human studies, animal studies and mechanistic studies, then we see weak evidence for only two outcomes. This is that we see an association between childhood leukemia and elevated low-frequency magnetic fields, and we are also not sure whether the risk of certain brain tumors is related to very heavy use of mobile phones. For all the other cancers, adult cancers, childhood cancers, in relation to power lines, to broadcast transmitters, we have no scientific evidence that there's an association.
So there are still questions about the relationship between childhood leukemia and mobile phones and brain tumors?
Well, for childhood leukemia, this is a very challenging question because we are researching this question for 25 years and don't have a definite answer yet. But it's also the problem because for childhood leukemia, we have not identified any cause with certainty. So the only thing we can say now is that even if the association is causal, it would explain only a very small proportion of childhood leukemias, probably less than 1%. So from a preventive point of view, this is not a breakthrough for the disease.
How much evidence do we need to certify the effect of electromagnetic fields on health? How many papers do we need? Are we certain for something?
It's not so much depending on the amount of papers. It's really when you only have a few convincing ones, then you can establish a relationship. The problem is that for these areas that I mentioned, we have very controversial papers. And so we have to take their quality into account, and we really have to weigh them by the totality of evidence. So ideally, the human studies and the animal studies go along with each other. So what we observe in epidemiology, we can replicate in the animal. And this is a problem for the low-frequency magnetic fields at the moment because we see the statistical association for the childhood leukemia, but none of the experiments has given any evidence that the association is causal.